Now this coming from
In pursuit of your goals.
Okay.
That's the biggest risk you could take.
Okay. I think the biggest risk I could take right now for one of my goals is just, which is to be an amazing photographer, is that to actually basically like post something online saying that if anyone needs like a wedding photographer, or I'm trying to think of like another field of photography that I really try my best not to touch, like just because as a photographer, people are just, like they'll ask you, oh, like what kind, people don't understand sometimes you're a specialized photographer, but at the same time, if you're a freelancer like I am, you take what you can get.
Well, because I know didn't you photograph sporting events?
Oh yeah, I still do.
I
mean, yeah, I had one on Saturday. I mean, I did a headshot session on Sunday with Scott, and then now I headshot with Dustin, and then I have another sporting event on Friday. But sports is my forte. But like weddings, it's funny for me to say this because I was so adamant about never touching like a wedding. I actually ended up doing one just because my cousin was officiating it, and he said they need a photographer. I said, if you tell them that I've never done a wedding before, and you tell them my rate and you send them my website, and if they want it, then yeah, let's contract it out. And sure enough, the bride got back to me like a day later, but it still petrifies me. Like even the fact that I thought I was like, oh, I did a wedding, I can do it all, and then like in retrospect, I'm thinking like, okay, this was like a 30-person wedding, like tops, I guess. It was a beautiful ceremony. It was small in this tiny gazebo in Laguna Beach. Like that's how intimate it was. So that's how easy it was because it was during the day. But like, so that's why I think the biggest risk for me is to like basically find other photographers that I really do trust, collaborate with them, and say, hey, let's put a posting and say, hey, because wedding photographers can cost up the wazoo. I think the most I've heard is like 10 grand for the whole night. I don't know why, personally, but.
It's a wedding.
My friend did it as a gift. So.
No, exactly. Like but so I think that's probably the biggest risk I could take to basically expand my portfolio and expand that website. Like give an idea.
You give it a yes and.
Yeah, a yes and.
You're not, and don't be afraid that you're going to miss some magic moment.
Yeah, I mean it was. I'll admit I was kind of, not to toot my own horn, but I was really surprised of how well the photos turned out. Like for the last wedding, because what happened was.
This is going to be our universal gesture.
Is it? I was like, why is Laura chuckling? I didn't even like look over, so that's why I was like, Laura, I'm trying to open up again. Like, why are you doing this to me?
Laura, stop closing it up.
I remember, and again, this goes back to like one of my fears about like wedding someone else, and I'm not gonna deny this, but like I'm a hopeless romantic in the sense that like I do believe in love, just not necessarily like in the romance for me personally. Like I'm a corny person, but like like as of lately, like the past couple of years, I never like was like, okay, I'm fine being single. I love being single. I'm happy. Like I finally like know what I want to do. And then all of a sudden, when I was covering this wedding, there was this moment. It's one of the pictures I have on my website now. That I saw the bride and the groom just look at each other, and at that moment, I had to like actually pause. I'm glad I got the picture first, and I actually put my camera down. And I said, that's also something that I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like just I never, I'm still a hopeless romantic, but at the same sense, like I was definitely cynical at the same time. But like after seeing that and capturing that moment, I was like, that's something that.
Well, it's like what Sean was talking about. We all want unconditional love.
Yeah.
And the way they're looking at each other, I suspect you're saying it was kind of an unconditional love.
It was one of those moments where like how focused I can be, like especially when I'm working. I had to put down my camera because I had to take a moment. Yeah, I was just like, wow, this is something. And but yeah, so.
Right. Well, thank you very much.
For him, it's fine.
Because I'm the sensei here. So, Nick, what did you learn or discover about human behavior based on the revelations of your fellow artists?
This is something, and but yeah, so.
Right. Well, thank you very much.
For him, it's fine.
Because I'm the sensei here. So, Nick, what did you learn or discover about human behavior based on the revelations of your fellow artists in this room?
I don't know, I guess one thing that stuck with me was what Brian said about the desire, because I was reading a book last week and it really had a lot to do about, every action, there's a reason behind it. You don't do something just to do something. There's something you want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's
All
about
right.
it.
So that
Lately.
struck a chord for you.
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
it stood out.
Yeah. What piques your curiosity? And did anyone else in the room, did they mention anything that also piques your curiosity?
I mean, I listen to all of them, but just anything new, just experiencing anything new, the
Okay.
unknown. That's about it.
3 fears. We're just gonna ask for those.
Living in Orange County for the rest of my life,
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Great.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
fair.
an office job.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And
A what job?
office job.
Oh, office job.
Yeah. Laziness. That's like the worst thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm just
You
so
see
lazy.
office space, you'll hit the point.
Well, we talked about complacency.
Yeah.
You know, you live in a beautiful environment here, and then you become idle, and you just live the day-to-day existence and routine without motivating yourself to go further. What else? So we said living in Orange County,
Office job.
office job, and complacency. Okay. What action can you take to eliminate any or all of those fears?
I don't know, I guess the biggest one would be if I do what I want, then I don't have to get an office job and I don't have to live here.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe since I get really lazy really easily, that's stopping it. So I just need to force myself or find a reason to force myself to do something.
That's a very good point, and we'll talk about this after the interview, because what can you do? What action steps can you take so that you don't fall into that pattern? What would be the biggest risk you could take?
I could drop out of school and move to Los Angeles and pursue my dreams.
That
Okay.
is so true.
All right.
That is.
Yeah? Okay. Thank you very much.
This is my blanket from when I was a baby. It may not look like much. No one. And, but yeah, I've had this thing since I was a baby. Like, I forget how many months, I should say. But maybe since I was born. And I've had this thing for a long time, and I haven't been refusing to let it go. Maybe to this day, actually, because of, I don't know, I love this thing so much. I just remember I have a lot of great memories with this thing. That's all I can think of for that, and I got a second one coming, if I can get it out. Hold on. Oh, there you are.
Ah.
And this is a Star Wars character called R2-D2. When I was a little kid, I never really liked doing little league sports, like such as baseball, soccer, you name it. But every time I would go, my mom would reward me to get some Star Wars toys, like a Stormtrooper or C-3PO or Han Solo or whatever you want to call it. So, and this guy got one from one of them, and I've had him for such a long time. I just figured I might as well. He lights up a little bit,
It's
but
probably
it's
a collector's item now.
yeah, it's like a collector's item, sure. But I like to keep it as a collection too, and I have some other Star Wars characters too, but I left them at home.
Okay.
But that's all I can think of for now.
Thank you. Whenever you're ready, Brian.
Okay, mine is this ring. It's the ring from The Great Gatsby, not like the actual ring that he wore, or else, oh my gosh, it would like never leave my finger. But no, yeah, his story is just like his drive just to do anything to get this one thing that he wanted. Like he's willing to do literally anything, and that's me with my acting, and it also I guess it's a little sentimental because my girlfriend and I got it for she bought mine, I bought hers for Valentine's Day, and they're matching.
So
So,
cute. That
thank
is
you.
so cute.
But yeah, I don't know, it's got this like palpable sense that like, you know, it kind of adds like, not really saying that I'm like elegant, but like, you know, wearing jewelry kind of makes me feel like, you know, a little more elegant, and it means so much to me. It's my like ring. I don't let other people wear it, so I don't know.
That's great.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right.
like guitar, and it's my guitar. I can sing, I can play guitar, and I'm very good experience. I play for church songs and that kind of stuff, and I can sing by myself. Do you want to hear me sing? Anyway, if you want to.
But I don't think I have time
Yeah, we don't have time, but the significance of the guitar and the joy of singing and music, that's like your personal totem, so,
Yeah,
That's great.
exactly.
okay. Thank you very much.
No
Yeah.
problem.
That case.
And whenever you're ready.
Oh, I have one.
Wait, am I supposed to say my name?
No.
Okay. This is my Beetle CD. Okay, so I was always my grandmother's favorite, and and like everybody always knew, and like my siblings were jealous, you know. So she passed away about a year ago, and we were going through some stuff, you know, and she left a bunch of checks for my siblings and for me, and my siblings all got like $100, and then for me she left like $2,000. And yeah, I know who's his favorite. It's like cemented. No, but with it she left a note that said like it said save this for a rainy day. Save this, something like save this for your wedding or for school. You were always my number one, which is what it signifies. And my grandma, she was she was raised in the Great Depression. So she was very, very frugal. No, one of the things is that she has her handwritings on the back, and it says who gave it to her in 2000. So for me, it's kind of like, you know, she definitely re-gifted this. But at the same time, you know, like her handwriting's still there. So, yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.